Welcome back to Mountain Connections. As promised, we spoke with Dr. Evan Antin on the show earlier, all about his book, World Wild Vet. If you're looking for something fun to read or a great gift to give an animal lover, you want to pick up this book. Anyways, let's take a look at the interview. I know Evan Antin from his Animal Planet series, Evan Goes Wild, or Facebook show, Tusks to Tails. The TV host and Instagram's most famous veterinarian has written his first book, World Wide Vet, part travelogue and part conversation wake-up call. We have him here today. Dr. Evan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's World Wild Vet, by the way. Sorry, I was trying to be clever with the title, and it just confuses most people.
Oh, yes. Well, I love it, though. World Wild Vet. Tell me more about it.
World Wild Vet, I'm very proud of it. I've been working on it for 3 years, and it's a compilation of stories from when I was, over the last 15 years, being a young wildlife enthusiast, doing everything I could to get in the native habitats in my favorite wild, to see them and work with them where possible at wildlife rescues, and that evolution to becoming a veterinarian, where I get to actually work with other vets and conservationists with, again, many of my favorite animals around the world, and try to promote wildlife conservation and educate people about animals and a bit about veterinary medicine. And my goal is to just get people passionate about these animals through my personal experiences with them, and hopefully be more intelligent in the decisions they make towards that help towards the conservation of our wildlife.
And tell me a little bit more about the Animal Planet series, Evan Goes Wild, and your Facebook show, Tusks to Tails.
Well, Evan Goes Wild is basically a show, and it covers me doing things that I've been doing for 15 years, and that's traveling to crazy places and the crazy ways that I get there, and working with, again, a lot of my favorite wildlife around the world. Every episode was in a different country, working with different species and habitats. And then Tusk to Tales, the Facebook show, it was a short form show where we're deep diving into different species and talking about their unique anatomy and physiology and adaptations they have that help them survive and thrive in the wild. And it's more of a science-based factual show, and also highlights some of my personal experiences with a given species in each episode.
And what made you decide to become a vet in the first place?
I always knew animals would be a big part of my life, personally and or professionally. And it wasn't until college I realized this is definitely my calling. And I started a business major, and then converted to ecology and conservation, evolutionary biology major, and just took it from there. And I've just haven't looked back since. And I feel like I am pursuing my calling. I'm very blessed that way.
And you are doing this interview from your home, correct? Where you have a lot of pets. Tell me more.
Got a few. Well, this is Henry. I don't know if you can see him in screen there. He's my little dog. I've got a cat over here named Willie, another cat named Blue. I've got a tortoise roaming around the yard eating grass, and a lizard and a snake and a couple of fish tanks. It's a little bit of a menagerie here.
I know it's probably really unfair to ask you, but do you have a favorite animal or an animal that you really dream of seeing in the wild that maybe you haven't?
Well, yeah, one I've not seen in the wild that I'm dying to see and potentially work with is a king cobra. They're the longest, biggest venomous snakes in the world, and I find them absolutely stunning. But I mean, there's so many species I haven't worked with, and I mean, I'd love to work with tigers in the wild, where they're native. I love working with crocodilians and reptiles. That's kind of where my passion for animals really started from a very young age. But there's a lot of other primates I'd love to work with, and big cats, and all kinds of crazy stuff. I really love it all.
I know we mentioned this already, but in your book, World Wild Vet, it's a travelogue, like you said, and a conservation wake-up call. So it sounds like anyone who has any interest in animals and traveling the world will really want to pick up this book.
I think they'll enjoy it. I mean, the stories, there's a lot of happy moments and sad moments and scary moments and exciting and funny moments. And, you kind of get your whole fill there. It's an easy read. It's going to take you out of your home and into these other countries and what it takes to travel and get around there in some pretty remote spots, especially in some of these chapters. And yeah, if you do happen to really like gorillas or sharks or the rhino or giraffe or crocodilians or snakes or whatever it is, I think you'll find something to really appreciate from it.
And what's next for you? Can you give us a tease on any other things that you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to continue to pursue the kind of work that I do in the TV space and that platform, and having a show in that direction. So I want to keep working towards that. I want to keep doing what I personally have been doing for 15 years, and that is traveling and working with my favorite species around the world. So this year, 2020 was a little bit slow. I mean, I'm still very lucky. I went to Tanzania and Australia to work with wildlife, but I would love to get back to doing a bit more of that. I'm used to traveling to 8 or 10 something countries a year to work with different conservationists and vets and animals around the world. So I'm hoping to do a little bit more of that as things open up, hopefully.
And of course, this book, World Wild Vet, is available now. Also, how can we follow along with you in your adventures?
Yeah, I mean, the book's a great start. You're going to see a lot of my favorite stories along the years, but then to keep current with what I'm doing, I think social media is a great spot for that. I post a lot of my work on Instagram at Dr. Evan Antin, Dr. period Evan Antin, and then on Facebook as well at facebook.com/Evan Antin. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Evan Antin, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Can't wait to pick up your book and really find out more about your many adventures with animals and conservation all around the world.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me today.